Look around you. Everything you perceive, this camera, the screen you're watching, the complex economic systems that govern global logistics, is the result of one single improbable process, the evolution of intelligence. But what if the profound cognitive abilities we possess weren't an inevitability, but a series of highly volatile, accidental fixes? For nearly 4 billion years, life existed without self-awareness, without language, and certainly without algebra. The leap from simple bacteria to organisms capable of abstract thought required billions of small, risky computational upgrades. This is the investigation into the underlying forces that mandated the creation of the mind. Our analysis begins by redefining intelligence itself. It's not just about solving complex equations. It is fundamentally about prediction. Survival hinges on accurately modeling the future based on past data. The sharper the prediction, the greater the evolutionary reward. And the first cognitive hardware emerged not for philosophy, but for locomotion. The Cambrian explosion, roughly 540 million years ago, was the great sensory arms race. Once creatures started moving, they needed directionality. Simple organisms like the sea squirt, once settled, literally digest their own primitive brain, because why predict if you no longer need to move? This highlights the first key evolutionary driver, the cost of inaction. Movement in a complex environment demanded centralization of sensory input, leading to the formation of ganglia and, eventually, the brainstem, the primal core that manages autonomic survival functions. The next major computational crisis arrived when life ventured onto land. Transitioning from the buoyancy and thermal stability of water to the harsh, gravity-bound terrestrial environment required massive neurological recalibration. Everything from managing hydration to navigating three-dimensional space became exponentially harder. But perhaps the greatest amplifier of intelligence wasn't environment, but society. When life forms cooperated, whether for hunting, defense, or raising complex young, the evolutionary pressure shifted from individual survival skills to social computational power. You must now model your environment and also the motivations of 20 other individuals. This cooperative demand drives the emergence of theory of mind, the ability to attribute mental states to others. We see evidence of sophisticated social cognition in dolphins, elephants, and many bird species, all driven by the necessity of complex communication and alliance building. This expansion came with an immense trade-off: metabolism. The modern human brain, accounting for only 2% of body weight, consumes roughly 20% of the body's total energy budget. Nature does not tolerate such extravagant energy expenditure lightly. The return on investment must be astronomical. For our hominid ancestors, the necessary subsidy arrived with fire. Cooking broke down complex starches and proteins, drastically increasing nutrient absorption without requiring hours of chewing. This energy surplus was immediately redirected to cognitive expansion, allowing our brains to effectively grow outside the constraints of the digestive system. But a large brain alone is insufficient. The critical threshold was crossed with the development of sophisticated symbolic language. Language didn't just allow us to communicate better. It fundamentally restructured our internal cognitive architecture. It made abstract thought portable, allowing us to share non-physical concepts. This capacity for abstraction led to the cumulative culture that distinguishes us. A crow learns from its parents, but its tools remain fundamentally the same. A human generation inherits the entirety of past innovation, allowing technology and knowledge to evolve exponentially faster than biology ever could. This acceleration is characterized by neoteny, the retention of juvenile features into adulthood. Human infants are born profoundly premature compared to other primates, requiring years of intensive parental care. This prolonged dependency allows our brains maximum environmental input during critical developmental phases. This evolutionary trade-off means we are highly adaptable, but also uniquely vulnerable to learned bias and trauma. Our enormous frontal lobes, the seat of planning and morality, are also where anxiety and overanalysis take root. We are the only animal that can worry itself sick over an event that hasn't happened. The question now shifts from, how did we get here, to, where are we going? Our current intelligence model is deeply rooted in biological constraints. But the next great evolutionary leap may be non-biological, demanding a reevaluation of what intelligence truly means. In the context of artificial intelligence, we confront the difference between computation and consciousness. An algorithm can defeat the world's best chess player, exhibiting superior skill, but lacks the subjective experience, the why, that drove the 4 billion years of biological evolution. Can intelligence decouple entirely from biology? If the goal of evolution is survival and optimization, then digital intelligence, free from metabolic burden and mortal decay, seems like the optimized successor. This transition presents not just a technological shift, but an existential redefinition of life's purpose. Furthermore, the true measure of our evolutionary success may not be our technological prowess, but our capacity for systemic self-regulation. Our current cognitive ability allows us to invent nuclear energy and engineer genetic cures, yet simultaneously drives climate instability and existential geopolitical conflict. The journey of intelligence, therefore, is not a simple ascent toward perfection. It is a story of solutions that create new, more complex problems. Every cognitive advantage, from tool use to language, is a double-edged sword, giving us unprecedented power while simultaneously increasing the stakes of our collective failure. Ultimately, the evolution of intelligence is the story of maximizing prediction in a chaotic universe. Understanding its history allows us to approach our future, whether biological or digital, not with passive dread, but with investigative urgency. How will we manage the power of the greatest evolutionary accident ever conceived? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe for more deep dives into the mechanics of existence.